All right, folks, here we have the Rattlesnake Pit. It's off the Rattlesnake main line, which we've been using to get up to the Huzzah sail that we were at, overlooking the other sails throughout the raging here. We actually have the raging river flowing right below us here and going west towards Falls City out that way, and actually toward the sweet tea sail that we're going to be looking at today as well. This is a pretty good rock pit. We don't have very many good rock sources on or in the raging block that we have. It's about a 12,000 acre forested block that we manage here for trust lands. This is below, so Rattlesnake Ridge is behind the trees there. You can kind of see off in a distance there's a tower that would be the south end of Rattlesnake Ridge, and we're looking east right now. The sails that we were looking at were above this, and so we're a little bit below all of that, you know, angular rock, highly weathered soils that are getting a lot of precipitation. We get some different formation here. This is basalt. However, it is got some highly weathered areas, especially ones that have been exposed. You can see lots of cracks and crevices where water's getting in for freeze and thaw. There's a road over there that goes up and along, and we created another bench because we do have some limitations for our bench size. They can't be any higher than 30 feet. But you can see how this is a very deep rock source. You know, we've had to bench it out twice, and there's a lot of decent basalt in here. However, it does break apart pretty easily, so it takes less explosives to move it. Right now, excuse me, some of the issues that we're running into are where to put the overburden. If you can see on this edge up there, a lot of that isn't rock that we're going to be able to use. It's too dirty with fine material in it, and so we need to put that somewhere else, and trucking costs can be expensive if we needed to move that elsewhere. You can see here we have two different products in these tiny little stockpiles that we have. We have this product right here. This first pile is 1.25 inch material. This is what we like to put on our surfacing on the very surface of the road. The next pile is 4 inch minus material, and that's what we like to put on for ballast below this surfacing. So you'll end up having your subgrade, which is kind of native material. Sometimes we'll truck in some subgrade, and then on top of the subgrade, you know, we'll truck it in if basically we're dealing with an area that doesn't have very much subgrade at all, or wet areas that need to be turnpiked up. And then so after the subgrade is there and the compaction of the subgrade has been approved, we'll put this 4 inch material on, about a foot or so of that, and then we'll put 6 to 8 inches of this surfacing material here. It does make pretty good rock, and like I said, rock pits are few and far between here in the raging area, and also on Tiger Mountain especially, and so it's nice to have a decent native rock source. It definitely decreases the cost in road construction for timber sales. Okie dokie, we got kind of a borrow pit here. This was used when this sail was cut, probably the first and second time, and now the third time. It's pretty well played out. It's highly weathered. You can see it. They didn't need to use any dynamite on this to blow it up. It's part of the reason is because it was probably basalt that was cooled in water and had a lot of water reacting with it, because this could have potentially been underwater when it was volcanic millions of years ago. And you can see too, there's an angle to the basalt, and it's very discontinuous. It's got these veins of different material. So you've got kind of, imagine maybe a basalt on top of some kind of inclusion coming up of different material with different elemental composition, and then also having some influences from the water. It's decent material, you know, for borrow, as far as borrow sources go. Here you can see the purple, really purple color, kind of cool there. That's manganese, like I've been talking about. Here's manganese, purple there, and then you've got your iron oxides happening as well. See, this guy is just flaking and cracking apart, and then anywhere you have that rind of manganese or iron oxides, you know you've got redox reaction, at least with the iron oxides going on. And then even here it gets very, very, very sandy. So this could have even been like sedimentary material laid down on top of this basalt over time. As you know, this might have even been like the top of the riverbed. The raging river is just a few hundred feet below us, right down there. This also happens to slightly coincide with the chip shop pit, which is basically directly that way. The raging river is there. This is Taylor Mountain there beyond the trees, and you can see the BPA lines there. That that area is the raging block that's goes towards the Cedar River watershed and down towards Enumclaw and the Green River watershed. And Mount Rainier is back there. But you know, look, you can see these horizontal lines and how you can imagine maybe these were different flood events of this sedimentary rock, you know, filling in here over time. And you know, it's freshly cut because this was just cut, so you can kind of get a nice idea of you know, there is some decent soil up there, and kind of, if you go a meter or two deep, similar to what we had over at that pit that I just dug. Basically it's on the other side of this little knob here, and so you can see the soil profile, and then you can imagine maybe, you know, this exists elsewhere throughout there. It probably does. We don't know at what depth. Again, we, you know, without using ground penetrating radar and things like that, we do use, but it's expensive and it's laborious and difficult to do. So a lot of times we just come in, find a vein, and go until it plays out. However, we don't necessarily know that it might be, you know, 500 feet depths up again or gets closer to the surface. That's, you know, kind of the mystery of, one of the mysteries of forestry. Anyhow, I'll also point out that I can see 3 different types of stumps up there along that, even the rim of this pit. And over there, one's got a notch from cable logging, whereas this, you know, didn't need to be cable logged the last time it was cut, because the machinery was good enough to do it ground based because this is a pretty flat area. So that stump's probably from the first time it was cut. It's a little hard to tell in this light, but you can see also fire scars on some of the stumps. And back when they first cut this, one of the practices was to burn. The second time they cut this, I don't know, it might have been populated enough and it was a political issue enough that they may have not burned. And so then you're not going to see fire scars on those intermediate stumps, but you'll see them on the old growth stumps. So that's another good indicator, kind of as you become a forest CSI agent, basically get better at your forest forensics. Anyhow, cool borrow source. We'll talk about more ones that are closely related down the road here, and a nice little peek at Rainier there as we move on.